This is Irontrader, and this is the last call of the day. So we're going to take a look here at Bitcoin, gold, silver, crude oil, natural gas. We'll take a look at the old indexes, which are ripping higher. Not as high as they were, but they're moving up quite substantial. The Dow's up over 800, Nasdaq's up over 400, and the S&P is pushing hondo there. Okay, at the end of the video, the support and resistance levels are posted for crude and natural gas, along with the Baker Hughes red count. This video is for information purposes only, not a recommendation to buy selling stock commodity ETF. Please like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. All right, here we have Bitcoin daily and weekly chart. Now, before we start here, obviously we're having a big rally today because of old Powell. It looked like he caved. Okay, he caved. Now he's looking at maybe a rate cut here come September, and then maybe like two more at the end of the year. Even though he's going to do a rate cut, I don't think it's going to be a half a point or like best at 1.5. I think you're going to do a quarter of a point here. Now, there is an employment number that is coming ahead of all that, so we got to see how all of that shakes out. But, man, you just got to watch that CPI report and that PPI report because inflation is creeping up. Now, the businesses are eating of it, okay? They're eating a lot of that. Okay, they're not really passing on the cost, but eventually, if that keeps on rolling, they're going to pass the cost on to the consumer, and that's where this whole thing is going to fall apart. So cutting rates, I'm not a fan of that. I just think he ought to wait and see and document all the information. I can't believe he caved. What a wuss. Okay, anyway, here we have Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin, and I should say the trading today has been fantastic. Even though I don't agree with the rate cut, the trading, I jumped into TQQs. That is up almost 5%. Your Amazons, your Meta, anything that is tech related is all ripping higher. Tesla's up there, 18 points. Just a really, really actually good trading day. But my favorite here is that BITX, and I'm up there almost 9% today just on that trade. So very, very nice in the trading kind of a situation. I'm just concerned a little bit down the road how this is all going to end. Okay, now, here we have Bitcoin. Now you can see here, big rally. We made a lower low today. Yesterday, we had that low of 112.75. Today, we made a low of 111.805 level. Okay, so what I said is just watch the top of that candle. That's going to be very, very key. That 111.220, we held that. Now, we got above the 50-day and ran right in here. And now what we're sitting right at this 21-day and that 8-day. Okay, so what we want to watch is we want to watch that 116.792, and we want to watch that 117.130 on a closing basis. That's going to be very, very critical. Now, if we can get above that, we'll come to today's high, 176.40. We'll venture up to here, 118.350. We'll come up top of that candle at 119.810 level. We'll come up top of there. You're looking at 127.55. Your next resistance is going to be 121.255. And then we have the top of the whole sticky here at 122.955. But this is the candle we want to watch, 123.615. Did we get a higher than that? Yes, but we didn't close above it, and that's going to be very, very key. Now, we can also take the candles all the way up here, but we're looking at that 125.200 retest. When we're down here, I said left shoulder, head, right shoulder. We do a flip ski. We're going to go 125.5. Came pretty close. Remember, when you're dealing with numbers like this, you're going to, it's not going to be dead on. It's not like a $5 stock or a $10 stock or something on that order. You know what I'm saying? So it came in very, very nicely that I thought I took the profits, and this worked out very, very good. Now, I'm along the BITX. I'm still holding the long. Remember, the dividend gets paid out here on the 27th. That's when it's declared. In 28th, you'll get paid. They're going to do about 62 cents a share. So, yeah, it's going to work out pretty good. I got, right now, I'm holding 3,000 shares, and I'm trading 3,000 shares. Okay, so this has worked out really, really good today here on the old Powell announcement. Now, if we can't get above and close above this key 21-day and 8-day, then we have we just do the reverse what we have for our support levels. We'll come right to the bottom of that candle, 116.295 level. Okay, then we can come there to the top of this candle, bottom of that candle, 114.929. Come down here at 114.640 level. But we're really watching is that 50-day, that 113.856. That's going to be very, very crucial on a closing basis. So now we got a little bit of ping pong action. We got to see if we can rally right on up, or we're going to just is like a one-day deal and it comes right on down. Now remember, when you get rallies like this, what you're really doing is all the shorts have to cover. And I say that's what kind of rally that we're having here right now. So we got to see Monday if this is going to carry right on through. If it does, well, then the market's going to go higher. If not, then it's going to, obviously, it'll go sideways to down. Now, we have the 52 here. That is nowhere near overbought, oversold. The green is still below your red, but it wants to curl up. If we can close above that 8-day and that 21 day, we can start retesting maybe even at 125, 200 level. Now we look at the weekly chart. Look at this. Look at this shit. Okay. So he came all the way down. I said, I've been telling you, watch that 8 day, watch that 8 day on a closing basis, the same as we had here. Okay. It came all the way down, but you notice that it closed above. Now look how many days that it closed above. It was looking pretty ugly this morning, but now so far we're above that 116, 413 level. Very, very nice level. Okay. So we came all the way down to the bottom of that candle today. That was 111,805. I said, watch this level right here. That's that 112. And then we have, what do we have that low today? Let's see, 111,805. This was your next level of support is 110, 150. And then we had that 108, 960. And then we have your 21 day. But right now we're holding that 8 day and looking very, very strong. You can see the RSI here just hanging right around. Very, very nice. You're not that overbought. You're just hanging right there. And the green is still over your red. So this is a very, very bullish chart. But again, even if this sells all the way down to that 50 day, this is still a very, very bullish chart. We have low, higher low, and you can go to the 50 day and still a higher low. Okay, so this is a very, very bullish chart. I think over time it's going to go much higher. I think you're going to probably tag that 135, even 150 here by the end of the year. Let's just see how it shakes out, one level at a time. Right now I'm long the BITX and I'm staying long. So we got to see how that all shakes out. All right, let's take a look here at gold and silver. Gold and silver getting some love today. Jumped into GLD and I jumped in the SLV here today. Okay, it was a lot of work, but I got in there and I'm still going to be holding here as long as we can close above that 21 day and above that 8 day and that 50 day. Okay, so right now this is what we want to watch on a closing basis. Right here is that 33.93. That's going to be key on a closing basis. Then we have that 8 day 33.87. Then we have this 33.76. Now we're in this downtrend. You can see where we're fighting that 8 day. Now we're basically above it. So on the upside, what you want to watch is that high 34.23 level. Okay, so right here is what I looked at. I've been pointing out 34.23. Where did it go so far today? 34.23. You see that? Always look to the left of the chart. Where it's been is usually where it's going to go. So these are your resistant levels. Now your next level we're going to get is going to be right here, right there. Okay, it's going to be 34.45. That's going to be very, very key. Then we'll come to the top of that candle, 34.47, 34.51, and then we can come up to the top of this candle right here at that 34.66 level. Okay, very, very nice. Okay, so that's what we got. But just look to the left of the chart. Where does it go? Right there. So at the end of the day, I'm going to see where this is actually going to stand, and I might just take off the GLD because it was a really nice trade here so far today. Now you can see here on the 54, that's nowhere near overbought or oversold. This is hooking over. This could go really, really nice rally up here. I'm not really what you call a gold trader. I just take it on a long position. So right now here, I'm going to see here after I make the bid exactly if I want to keep holding this here over the weekend or if I want to dump it out. Okay, now we look at silver. Look at this nice big run. Okay, so this morning we came down, we held that 50 day. Now we're back above this 8 day. That's going to be a support, 38.12. And then we have that 37.95. And then we have that 50 day right below it. So now we rallied up and I've been pointing out the top of this candle. See this? How much resistance? If you put a line right here, see, just follow my line right across. How many times have we held it all the way through? Okay, now we popped above. So I have the SLV going. I'm going to see where this is actually going to, if where it stands at the end of the day. So 39.09, okay, is your high so far today. What we're looking for next is going to be the bottom of that candle at that 39.33 level. Okay, so that's what you're going to be looking for. And then we can rally up 39.52, 39.66, 39.91. That's your retest. And then we could get 40, 42, and 45. All right. At the end of the week, or at the end of the day here today, I'll probably take the GLD and the SLV off, okay, because I say I'm not really a gold or silver trader, but I do take it for a long time just to make some money and then get out of it. I'm more of a crude oil, natural gas, gasoline, and tech. That's the thing, tech and Bitcoin, okay? So that's my new favorite trade is the Bitcoin. I just think the Bitcoin is going to go much higher. But these are very, very good trades here. I'll see after I make the bid if I'm going to take this off at the end of the day, but very, very nice trading. Now, again, if it keeps rolling up here, we have that target at 39.91, then we have to see what the reaction is once we get there. RSI looking very, very nice. Green about ready to cross over. Very, very nice trading. Now, when you look at this chart, you can see here how you have a low and then a higher low, higher low. Everything would revolve around that 50 day. Okay, and held it here so far very, very nicely, and now it have a nice, good move on up. So That's what we're looking for here on the silver. We're looking pretty much at 39.52 level, okay, which is basically just the top of that candle. Okay, so watch that price channel. You get above that, you can hit that 39.91. All right, let's take a look here now at crude oil and natural gas. Here we have crude oil. Now, you're not talking about really moving up a whole lot, all right? But again, we got to see here how this all shakes out. Now, you can see how the 8-day, that was holding the price down. Now, the 8-day flattened it out, and then she wants to go up. However, you got so much resistance, 100-day, 21-day, 50-day, 200-day, okay? So this is what you're looking for on the upside. Your resistance level is that 64.38. Very, very key. Next level, 64.89. Next level, 66.53, and then your next level is going to be that 200-day at 67.53. We get above that, we can come down to the bottom of that candle, 68.56. We look to the top there, 69.58, and then obviously your retest at 70.51. Now, a lot of this is to do here with the let's see if there's any kind of a hurricane action. Remember, you got hurricane season here to about the first week of October. So, this could move right on up here. But again, we have so much resistance going on. Now, this isn't really what you call a supply and demand issue. The market is fully supplied. There's no question about it. OPEC is just dumping oil on the market here. But again, we got to see how this all going to shake out, because we had that they had like a sort of like a peace talks between T-Man and Putin, and then he had Putin and Zelensky had a talk, I guess. And then what happens? Putin goes around and he bombs Ukraine. Okay, and he hit American factory over there. So, any kind of a war, any kind of a situation will take crude oil higher. This is the perfect example of it. Okay, inverse head and shoulders pattern. I says going to the 200-day. That's where it went, and this was that war between escalation. Okay, right there. So this is what you have to understand. But remember, this never lasts. Look what happens. Okay, it never lasts. Now, on the downside, you got to watch that 8-day on a closing basis, 63.06. Very, very key. Then we look to the bottom of that candle, 66.52 level. We'll come down there at 61.83, and then we're going to have that retest of 61.45. So basically, you're trading between the 8-day and the 100-day. We got to see how it all shakes out. You lose that key 8-day, and then we could do a retest of 61.45. Okay, we crack above that 100 SMA, then we have the 21, 50-day, and 200-day is what we're dealing with. All right, now here, you're sitting there not overbought, oversold. The same way with the green, that could go right on up. So let's just see how it all shakes out, but we're getting ourselves a nice little relief rally after this nice big sell-off. All right, let's take a look here now at Natgas. Here we have natural gas. Now, natural gas, you can see, just can't get off the Schneid. Okay, so where did it go yesterday? Into the 8-day. Look how strong this 8-day is. That's why you trade the charts. Popped above, couldn't get it. And look at today. Right into the 8-day, right all down. I traded the KOLD today. Very, very good trade. Got as low as 38.20, high as 39.60 level there. I got 70 cents out of it. Now, I cut my position down. I used to trade 5,000 shares, but I only traded 2,500 because there was so much. You had gold, you had silver, you got tech, you got Bitcoin. There's so much else to trade. So I cut the shares down to 2,500, and I am out of the trade now at 70 cents. Okay, so very, very happy with that here on the Natty Gas. Now, you can see here there is no juice whatsoever. Okay, so now we broke and we close here below this 2.72, and we hit the low there today of 2.69. Now, I said watch the bottom of this candle. That's what you're gonna do. That's gonna be support. That's basically 2.688, which is basically 2.69. Now, if we keep right on rolling down, right there is 2.64. That's gonna be a level. We'll come right to the top of that candle at 2.57. Come to the bottom, 2.51. And then we have 2.44 level. We'll come to the bottom there at 2.37. And then we work yourself right down to 2.26. And then all the way down to 2.21. Now, eventually, Natgas is going to turn if the Farmer's Almanac is right, and you have a cold winter, and you have snow and all this kind of stuff, and a long winter like we had last year, then eventually this here will roll back up. But you got to be patient. So I was looking at the UNG today, and I said, geez, maybe I'll get into that UNG. But to me, I go strictly by the charts, and it just couldn't get above this 8-day. Now, once it gets above the 8-day and it turns this downtrend into an uptrend, there's no sense, okay? So I'm just scalping this, and I'm definitely not holding this over the weekend. But again, I took my 70 cents. Boom, I'm out of the trade, and we're all done, okay? So bottom line, that's what you got to watch on the downside. The upside, we got to get right back above that 272 level. You got to get back above that 281, which is key, and then we can hit that 294. Get above that, we hit that price channel at 319. You got your 50-day, you got your 100 SMA here, 337, and then you got 349. But right now, this is downtrending, and right now there is nothing bullish about this chart whatsoever. You look at the RSI, this is not oversold yet. This could go lower, same way here with your MACD. Okay, so bottom line, this is a trade for now, both directions, until we can get above that 8, and then we can maybe take that bad boy higher. All right, let's take a look at the indexes. All right, here we have the Dow. Here we have the Nasdaq. And here we have the S&P. Nice. Now you can see the Dow, we had this negative divergence kind of a situation going on here. It did sell all the way down. You held that 50-day. That's the key. That held that 50-day on the closing basis. Came a little bit lower, but you notice that it closed above. Okay? And then she just rallied right up. But right now you have a high, higher high, and a higher, higher situation. Now you can see here where the RSI curled right back up again. So maybe we're going to, take this bad boy higher. Now you can see here, but again, just remember, when you're up here that much, 856 right now, on the Dow, you're up there over 900 at one point. That is short covering. Okay, so just remember, a lot of people were betting that Powell was not going to come. Now, I didn't bet either way. Only thing I was waiting for the news to come out, and as soon as I heard the news, boom, I jumped in the long side and I took the trade long. I wasn't betting on say, oh, I'm putting positions on short or I'm putting position on long. I have no idea what the guy was going to say. Okay, I didn't think he was going to wuss out and he's gonna start cutting rates here. I thought he was going to hold steady and look at what the inflation number is, but he did not do that. So I didn't take no direction. I'm not a gambler. Okay, I just wait for the news. If I get it a little late, who gives a shit? Look how much this market is up today. Okay, I'm killing it here today. Just I'm being patient. That's the key. All right. Now you can see here we're at all-time highs ever. Right there, 45,757. We keep rolling. You can go to 46,000. You can go to 48,000. You go to 50,000 with this. We don't know where this is all going to shake out. Now your RSI curling back up here. Now we're headed right back maybe to a positive day, to another overbought condition. So we could go higher. Let's see how that all shakes out. Downside, just watch that price channel, 45,207. We want to watch the 8-day sitting right there, 44,998. The 21-day, and then we want to watch that 50-day and that retest. We lose that. You had 50-day, you have the 200-day, the 100-day, gap, and fill. But right now, she's rolling up higher. Now, we did make new highs in S&P. You came right up to it. Okay, so far today, we made that high of 64.78, but we did the high is 64.81, so it came just a little bit below. So now we cracked that 64.81. You're going to go to 6,500. You go to 66, 67. I was listening to Tom Lee, and I think I really respect Tom Lee. I think he's a really, really very, very accurate. Tom Lee is very, very good. He was on CNBC this morning, and I thought he is very, very accurate. And he said that you could go 60 by the end of the year, 6,800, maybe even 7,000 on the S&P. That's very, very possible. He's been dead right this whole time. There's very few people I listen to, but I listened to Tom Lee, I think, and I listened to that Einstein, that little guy on that's on the exchange, New York Stock Exchange. This guy just kicks ass. I like both of those guys. Now, I don't listen to many guys like Kramer and all this kind of shit. He doesn't, screw him. Okay, and a lot of these guys on CMC, I just don't listen. There's very few that I listen to, and they have to have a track record. And that's the key, is the track record. Okay, Einstein's been doing this for 30, 40 years. Tom Lee, he's been just dead right. He's really, really good. And he said now not only the market, but he's looking at Bitcoin going much, much higher also. But what we want to watch here is we want to watch that 64.81. That's going to be very key on the upside. On the downside, we want to watch 64.35 level, and we want to watch 63.85 level. And then we want to come down here at 62.69, and then you retest 62.12 level. Okay, we had this gap, we had the fill, the 100-day, and then we have that 200-day. All right. But again, we cracked that. You can go 6,500, 66, 67. Don't fight it. Trade this. Okay. That's a trade. Now we had this negative divergence, which is still going on. Okay. So you got to be a little bit careful. But if we close it back above this 64.81, you're going higher. It's just that simple. Now, Nasdaq is kind of a laggard here. Okay. So what we want to watch on the downside is watch that 21,472. That's your 8-day. We want to watch that 21 SMA right there, okay? Then we want to watch the big boy as that 50-day, and then we have that the retest at 25.60. We also have this gap, the fill, the 100-day, and obviously your 200-day, all right? Now, upside, well, what we're doing is we're going to be watching this candle right here, 21,610, and then we just march it up there, okay, 21,651, and then we have 21,716, 21,803. That's your breakout. You crack that, you can go 22,000, you can go 24,000, you can go 25,000. We don't know exactly where to go. Now, the easy way I play this trade is with TQQQ. Okay, now you can get into Amazon. Okay, Amazon is up 3%. TQQ up 5%. Meta's up 2%. TQQ 5%. Okay, now you look at Microsoft. Microsoft is up about 0.75%. Apple's up 1.5%. Google's up 3.77%. But the TQQs, which is a basket of all that, is up 5%. Okay, that's an easy way to trade all of that tech. Okay, same way now Tesla's up 5.88. It's just a little bit higher than the TQQs, but you know you're up 5% when a lot of these are only up 2-3%. Okay, so that's what you got to look at. But see, like the BITX, you're up 8.25% today. Very, very nice. The IBIT, which is a 1-to-1, that's only up 4%. Okay, see how nice that is? So a lot of times you want to trade these ETFs. But again, remember, ETFs are trading vehicles. Okay, a lot of times these are not buy and hold; they're trading vehicles. So bottom line, what we want to watch is that 8-day, 21-day, the 50-day. The same thing right here, and then the same thing right on this again. So let's just see how this all shakes out. But remember, we do have negative divergence going on these charts. So just be a little bit careful. This could be maybe just a one-day wonder. Remember, one day does not make a market. So always remember that. All right, that's what I got for you. I'll be back here Sunday night, and we're going to do it all over again. Have a great weekend. And remember, take profits. Put them in your freaking pocket. We come out Monday. We come out happy. We come out making more money. Trade what's in front of you, not what you want.